Hi NABOR instructors. This is going to be just a little bit of a tutorial on how to use some of the features in Zoom when you're teaching classes for NABOR. First of all, I'm going to have Wade go through how to add the Zoom link to your calendar. So when I set up the Zooms in our account, it automatically sends an invitation to the panelists for the Zoom. So when you get that email, and it can be months in advance, if I set up the class in January but the class isn't until March or April and you receive that email, obviously it could be lost in the email abyss. So Wade is going to show you how to add that to your calendar. That way you just have to click on the calendar and you'll have the link readily available for you. Although you will get reminders. I do send reminders out a week, a day, and an hour before the class, so you'll have those as well.
But if you want to set it up in your calendar and set up a reminder, let me show you how that's done. Click on Add to Calendar. It will open up a box wanting to connect to either Outlook, your Google Calendar, or Yahoo Calendar, whatever one that you're using. Once you're connected to your calendar, you're going to want to hit Save, and this will save all the information to your calendar. You also will want to set up a 30-minute reminder so that you're reminded 30 minutes before the class starts. Hit Save. Now when you come back to your calendar, you'll see that the Zoom meeting is now available in your calendar. Click on it, and it's the same information that was provided before.
Okay, so when you're in the Zoom, I'm just going to put this into full screen mode. When you're in the Zoom, this is kind of going to be what it looks like for you. Obviously, there'll be people in the room with you, not just me by myself, but this is just for training purposes. So for screen sharing, this is one of the things that people get most nervous about, but it's very simple to do. At the bottom, you're going to see your controls here. Screen sharing is going to be the green button. Now, what you'll need to make sure that you do is have the document, either the PDF or the PowerPoint presentation open in the background before you enter the Zoom. So you're going to click Screen Share, and my document isn't open, so you can't see anything there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to exit out of full screen mode, and I'm going to minimize the Zoom. Now when you minimize the Zoom, you'll see just this little box on your screen. That's how you're going to find it again. So I need to open the PDF in the background. That's the PDF I'm going to be screen sharing. Once I have that open, I can enter the Zoom by clicking this green arrow. Gets me right back into the Zoom in full screen mode. So when you go to screen share, you're going to click the green screen share button. There's my PDF. So I'm going to click on that PDF there. Now sometimes you'll see a desktop here and you'll see all the icons underneath, but what you want to do is just the document itself. That way we don't see any pop-ups or notifications come through. So once you start sharing the screen, you're going to see the panelists or your video will be in the top right corner there. Sometimes this toolbar will move to the top of the screen. I'm not sure if it has to do with the computer that you're using or something in the Zoom settings. This one, it remained at the bottom, but when I'm using my desktop computer, it does move to the top. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. This may be at the top or the bottom of your screen. When you see this green bar here, it means that you are screen sharing, and then you can see what's on the screen there from what the participants see. So I am recording the Zoom, so you'll also be able to see from the participants' viewpoint what it looks like. When you're sharing the PDF, you want to go into File or View, and you'll either put it in read mode or full screen mode. Either one is fine. It's just going to make the PDF be the main focus. So you'll just see the large PDF on the screen. Let's stop this share because it likes to say that I'm not sharing when I do that. Okay, so share again. So there it is. I've got the green bar down here that says I'm screen sharing, and it's in the full screen mode. So if you want to see the participants, you can click on this down here. It will bring it up just in the middle of the page, and you can drag it wherever you want. You just click on it and drag it over. If there are attendees, obviously they would be in this list. If it's a CE class, everybody will be in as a panelist, and you'll see multiple thumbnails down the right-hand side of your screen, and that will be all the panelists on video. So you can see them all there. I'm just going to click on that because I don't need that open. We've got the Q&A here at the bottom as well. When you click that up, the box will open in the middle of the screen. Again, you can drag that to the left or to the right, wherever you'd like it. You'll see any of the open questions listed there. So if there's any questions that aren't answered that you need to answer, either a lot of times you'll have a host in the meeting. A lot of times with webinars, it's me and I'll facilitate the questions, or you can do it yourself, whichever you prefer. So the questions will remain in the open question area until we have checked that we have answered them. So you have two options. You can type an answer to that person and send it, and that will move it into the answered screen, which is the next one over. You can also click Answer Live, and then the question will remain on the screen until you click Done, and then it will move it to the answered section of the Q&A. Now, if everybody is in the class as a panelist, the Q&A does not work because panelists don't put questions in the Q&A, so you would need to use the chat in that instance. So when you go into over here, More, it'll be blinking orange if there's a message in the chat, but you'll do that and you can open the chat by clicking on it. Again, it puts in the middle of the screen and you can move it. So with the chat, you have options here. You can send a chat to all the panelists. You can send to all panelists and attendees, or if there's more than just yourself in the room, you'll have a whole list of people, and you can even type in the search bar a name, so you can direct message one person if you don't want to send the chat to everybody. So in other words, if you're teaching and you need to tell me something, if I'm in the room as the host and you don't want to broadcast it to everybody, you can send a direct message to me. I'll see it and then can respond to you in a direct message as well, and nobody else will see that. So that's the chat feature there. There's also some cool tools that you can use. There's the annotate down here at the bottom. It looks like a little pencil. Sometimes this is under More, depends on how your screen is set up. So if you click on annotate, you can do a lot of cool things. There's the spotlight feature. So you click spotlight and then you click on the little spotlight, and then you'll see a laser pointer that you can point to things on the screen, which is kind of a cool feature. And then also you can draw. So you click on that and then click on either one of the squiggly lines, and then you can draw, circle something. At the bottom you can click undo. I've lost the mouse. Undo, and that'll get rid of that. You can also stamp things. So there's a checkbox, so you can stamp as you're going down a list if you want to check things off that you've discussed. You can also do the little star. Click the star over there. Hey, this is important. Let's pay attention and star that. And then we can undo all of those as well. So when you're done with annotate, you can just move on with other things. You click the little X in the corner here, and that gets rid of that little pop-up menu. That way it's not there in the way. If you see a person with a hand raised, I don't know if I can do it when I'm in the room by myself. I don't think I can. But you'll see a little hand will pop up on their thumbnail. It'll be a little blue hand in the corner. If you want to allow them to talk, and they're in there as a participant, on their little thumbnail, it'll either, right here where it says mute, it'll either say allow to talk, or you'll have to press the three little dots, and it will be in the sub-menu that you can allow them to speak. And then they'll have to unmute themselves, and then they can talk. So some questions can be more in-depth, and they might want to verbalize their question, and that's a way that you can get them to speak it instead of having to type it in. Once you're finished, you'll click on the little hand and click lower hand, or in the panel here, you can click on it here. There'll be a little blue bubble there that will say lower hand, and you can click that. It'll lower their hand. That way you know you have finished the question that they asked. Okay, also, if you want to make the class a little bit more interactive, you can add polls. Anytime you want to add a poll to a class, if it's going to be a NABOR webinar, just send the polls to me a few days in advance so I have time to get them in, unless it's a super easy one like a yes or no, true or false. Those are super easy to add. So those are the polls that I added to this one. So when you're ready to launch a poll, you're going to click on polling here at the bottom. You'll see the pop-up on your screen. Now I did add 2 polls, a yes, no, or a true, false. So if you want to access the other poll, you're going to click on the little down arrow here. So you can launch either poll. You're just going to click on the one you want to do. So let's do yes or no for now. If it's a CE class and you want to allow the panelists to vote, because they'll all be panelists in a CE class, you're going to click Allow Panelists to Vote down there at the bottom. That way everybody will be able to participate. And then you're going to click Launch Poll here. And then the poll will launch on your screen. Now, if there were actual people in the class, you would see the progress move, people voting yes, people voting no. When the percentage up at the top of people has voted is satisfactory to you, when you get to 85, 90%, whatever you'd like it to be, you can then end the poll. You'll see the results there, but if you want the participants to see the results, you're going to hit Share Results, and then it will show the results of that poll. You can click the arrow on the top there to stop it, and then if you want to launch a different poll, say you want to launch the true or false poll, you have to hit Stop Sharing on that one. Then you're going to go up here and click on True or False. If you've already allowed the panelists to vote once, it'll automatically be checked. So you don't have to check that every time, but just always look down there. Best case scenario is to always double check that. And then you'll launch the poll again. And you can repeat these polls as many times as you want. So if you're going to ask a bunch of yes, no, or true or false questions, we'll just put those 2 polls in there, and you can launch the true or false poll multiple times in the webinar, or the yes, no, or whatever the poll may be. You can launch it multiple times. So that's polling. Okay, and then more here. This is just, you're going to see anything that is not able to fit on the little poll there. These lives are for live webcasting, which we don't typically do here, not for the webinars that we do. And I think that's all. I'm going to stop the share. Okay, and I don't see, there's the raise hand button, just so you can see what it looks like from this end, and then I'll just lower it down there. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I recorded this, so Wade can also edit in part of what the participants see, because their screen is going to look different from yours. That way you can see kind of what they see on the other end as far as using the annotate features and all of those other features as well. And then you can draw, circle something. At the bottom you can click undo, and that'll get rid of that. You can also stamp things. So there's a checkbox, so you can stamp as you're going down a list if you want to check things off that you've discussed. You can also do the little star. Click the star over there. Hey, this is important. Let's pay attention and star that. Hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, or anything, just let me know. You can always email me, michelle@nabor.com, or give me a call. And that's it for today. When you're finished, you just click End down here. You'll get a little pop-up, End Meeting for All or Leave Meeting. So we're going to end the meeting for all because we are finished.